Kaja Israel, Kaba Egypt, Kaja Ethiopia, Kaja Sudan, Waja Shong. Kaja Ikushima, you know, Wanime Kona, me Waja Shong. So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, you know, Waja Shong. Waja Waja Shong. Jetaki, no Sumanguru, you know, walk where you get, what you're shown. What's that to do, you know, Bamasa, you know, Yasan, you know, what you're shown. Get your Israel, Kaba Egypt, get your Ethiopia, get Sudan, what you're shown. Abaka, Bajimo, one year, for Kalacha, I catch my 1 year, and in young fang. Abaka, Bajimo, 1 year, for Kalacha. I got you 1 year, I'm in year. What you're shown, what's that to do, you know? Bamasa, you know, Yasan, you know, what you're shown. Get your Israel, Kaba Egypt, get your Ethiopia, get Sudan, what you're shown.
Hello, hi. My name is Calibos, the only boss with one S. I'm sure you've heard about Tap Send. Yes, I'm here to tell you Tap Send is the secure way to send money from UK, from the US, from Canada, from Europe to Africa or Asia with no fee. Very fast and very secure. So what are you waiting for? Get onto that platform. It's Tap Send. You can find it on the App Store or Play Store. And guess what? If you use the promo code Calibos, you get for your first transaction you make $10 free. If you're from the US and you're from the UK, it's £5 free. And from Europe, anywhere in Europe, you get €5 free. It's Tap Send.
Me did the young antechua, and maybe I'm discovered for Europe. I come a bush and for Ghana. No, me used to tap send, tap send. No fee mobile money transfer. Aye easy, aye convenient, aye fast, and sounds so free. Won't you share? Me discover aye mapim. Tap send. Intienne. Also download the tap send app. No, ever mobile phone so free. Na first ka come a bush and for Ghana for na. Tap send. Papa no.
Good evening. Welcome to the Ghanaian Community Awareness Forum. Today, the 11th of February. The topic today, we are looking at one district, one factory. To my audience, welcome. We wish you a good evening with us so that tonight, by the time you leave here, I'm sure you would have gained all the knowledge and information about the initiative that this government has projected over the past well over 5 years now. And I believe a lot of us have heard about it. Some have attended various series of webinars, and I believe this is one of them that I'm sure you're going to gain a lot. So tonight, we are going to go through a few rules. Those who are not familiar with our rules, as you would have noticed, you now have to register to join us so that we can thank you from time to time for being an audience, and also to make sure that we have the right people joining us for the right reasons. But most importantly, the other rules that I will have to make is that for this function and other subsiding functions in the future, we will make sure that you cannot obviously mute yourself throughout the program. And when we get to Q&A, you will have to do so because you can then do so from our end. We would have done the right thing for you to do so. Where possible, please say your name and show your face where possible so we know who we are interacting or engaging with. Please use the Zoom icon and raise your hand, or put a chat there so that we can attend to your questions, those who are not able to speak or want to show themselves to us. Where possible, please kindly ask one question at a time. This program is brought to you by kind courtesy and partnership from the Ghana Union, Ghana Nurses Association UK, the Western Regional Association of Nurses UK, the Ghanaian Nightingale Nurses Association UK. It's supported by Omega Live TV and the Ghana High Commission, brought to you from London to broadcast on Zoom, Facebook, YouTube. Please welcome to tonight's forum. The topic we have today is about the government flagship initiative in Ghana, One District, One Factory. We will be having a special guest who we are privileged to have with us tonight. The person that I'm here to introduce to you this evening is somebody that some of us are familiar with, but by no means a very key person on this initiative that the government has been projecting to all of us to get involved. He's currently the Chief Commercial Officer and Head of Government Flagship One District, One Factory initiative, which seeks to transform Ghana's industrial landscape. He has had a considerable experience in international trade, public sector policy, and management for more than 20 years. His core expertise include policy analysis, trade analysis, business development, and investment appraisal. Between 2013 and 2019, he was Ghana's Trade Attaché, Minister, Counselor, and Head of Trade and Investment Section at the Ghana High Commission in the United Kingdom, with primary responsibilities to advise government on matters relating to trade and investment promotion, and to aggressively promote and protect Ghana's commercial interests in the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland. He holds a master's degree in agricultural administration from the University of Ghana, Legon, and has certificates in international marketing, Germany, policy development, RIPA UK, trade negotiations, Geneva and Tunisia trade policy in USA. Audience, tonight I'm privileged to welcome to you our special guest, Mr. Kofi Addo. I'm Kofi, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it's nice to see you. It's been a while. We miss you. The UK, Ireland team have missed you a lot. And I'm glad that you've taken the initiative to join us, to be with us again and helping us to obviously go through some of these areas that some of us want to get involved. I'm sure many people today want to get involved, and that's why they are here. I won't do the talking anymore. I will let you carry on and give you the chance to tell us what is the whole idea all about. Where are we now? Where are we going? What are the chances that anybody, is it too late? All those what and how and why is why you are here today. So please take over.
Okay. Chairman, good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Chairman, I would like to say that it is a great time to be back with you and other colleagues in UK. Now I'm back home in Ghana, enjoying hot weather. So, but it is good. Since 2017, I'm sure you are all aware, since the new government came in, one of the key things that has been happening in the country is to how to transform Ghana's economy. And one of the flagship activities that the Ministry of Trade and Industry is implementing is one district, one factory. So this evening, I will take time to take you through why the 1D, 1F, and then the core principles behind the 1D, 1F, and then the objectives, and then like the chairman said, where we are, and then the support, government incentives regime that is making industries to take advantage of the initiative. And then we look at some of the ways and then priority sectors that people would like to know and then come in. So I believe the team will be sharing the slide so we can start immediately. Okay, so can we move to the next slide? So as I said, we are looking at the policy context, why the 1D, 1F, and the core principles, the government support, the financing options, because most of the time people would like to know where the financing is coming from. And then I want you to also know the process flow, how you can become part of the initiative, and then the status of implementation. And then we will show you some pictures of commission projects so that you all know that it's a work in progress. And then we will conclude. Can we go on to the next page? So why the 1D, 1F? Let me put this whole question in context. It will interest you to know that in this time or as part of the World Industrial Program, most of the industrial countries, the rich countries, have been able to achieve their economic transformation at the backdrop of industrialization. Most of the countries. So you talk about Japan, you talk about USA, you talk about UK, you talk about Germany, you talk about China, you talk about all these countries. They are able to have transformation in their economy with the manufacturing or the industrial sector driving all this transformation that is going on. So if you hear about Ghana's industrial transformation agenda, the whole thing is this. From the time of Kwame Nkrumah up to date, we have been dependent on agriculture base. And if we want to continue the same way that we are doing business, it means we are not going anywhere. So the focus now is that we should be strategic in the way we do things. And the strategic way of doing things is to focus on massive industrialization. So when we are talking about the one district, one factory, the focus is that government is facilitating the development of industries. That is the core issue. Government is facilitating the development of industries. It transforms Ghana's economy. And then we are also saying that we want to change the structural transformation of Ghana. If you look at the GDP growth of Ghana right now, the GDP is being driven by the services sector, followed by agriculture, and industry is the third. But what we seek to do is to make sure that industry will become a major part of our GDP growth so that it will be able to, because it is at the industrial sector that we are able to create massive employment, to be able to get the youth and all the other people to be employed. And when we are doing this, one key thing that we are doing is to make sure that we stop the rural-urban migration. If you're able to create businesses in the hinterlands, in the districts, then you create employment. If you're able to create employment, then the youth will not run away to the cities, Accra, Kumasi, Tema, to be chasing work, because now they have works and other industries in their catchment areas. And then, please, can you go on? Then, the other issue is that we are talking about industry. When we are talking about industry, the core policy initiative is that there should be value addition. So I've talked about over the years, everybody talks about Ghana being an agrarian economy. We are always exporting the raw forms. And if you export the raw forms, the return is always minimal. So we want to be part of the global value chain. And if you want to be part of the global value chain, then the issue is that there should be value addition. And that is what we want to do. We do value addition to our natural available raw materials. So this is the policy context, why the 1D, 1F. Whilst you are doing the value addition, then in effect, you are also promoting made in Ghana products, which will be able to compete with any imports. So in that direction, what we are also doing under the 1D, 1F is import substitution. So the more we are able to add value to our products, like the mangoes, the pineapples, the oranges, and produce our own juices, then we will cut down on the number of importation of the juices into the country. And this will also lead to Ghana being able to generate more foreign exchange and then cut down on our foreign exchange that we used to bring these goods into the country. And then all in all, it will also lead up to what we call industrial development decentralization, so that you don't need to come to Tema, you don't need to come to Accra, you don't need to go to Kumasi or Takoradi, but you can be in Addo in Oti region, where I have one of the flagship companies, which is now doing yam processing, which under normal circumstances, you cannot find it anywhere. But in Addo in Oti region, we have a company called CH Global that is now processing yam for the market. And we are also looking for the opportunity to export. Please, can you go ahead? What are the core principles? Sometimes you hear people saying that 1D, 1F is government trying to create businesses. No. The core principle under 1D, 1F is that they are private sector driven. All the companies that I'll be referring to, the company I refer to in Addo, private sector driven. All the companies that are captured under the 1D, 1F, they are private sector driven. And I will explain. Government's main business is to create the enabling environment for the private sector to come in and take advantage and then to be able to do businesses. So one of the key things that you need to do is that government is facilitating, but the whole process is being driven by the private sector. And then the second one, I'll also take time to explain it. Sometimes you hear people saying, 1D, 1F companies, government is trying to take some old companies and bring them back as 1D, 1F. We say that 1D, 1F companies can either be new companies, greenfield, or existing companies. So when I talk about existing companies, let me explain this. We have three forms of existing companies that we are considering under the 1D, 1F. One, we are looking at companies that are viable but distressed. So please, I want to underscore that point. Companies that are viable but they are distressed. So as part of the 1D, 1F, we are supporting these companies to come back to life because we know they have been doing well over the years, but because of few challenges, they have gone down. So with a little support, a little push, they can come back. So when you hear existing companies that are captured under the 1D, 1F, one of the reasons why they are captured, that they are viable. but they are distressed and they have been given support to come back to life. 2, you have existing companies that are already in operation and they want to expand their operation. And they want to expand their operation, but if the 1D, 1F incentive and the environment, the ecosystem is not there, they would have preferred to leave Ghana to go to another place. But because of the 1D, 1F, they want to take advantage to expand their operations. So you have existing company that is already in operation, but they want to expand. And they are captured as 1D, 1F. And the third and the last one is an existing company that wants to do a new or entirely a new facility, not in their old existing place, but outside. So you can have a company that is already maybe operating in Accra, but is saying that because of the 1D, 1F, I want to move outside and then to expand my operations or to have a new line of operation. They are captured as 1D, 1F. And then I can give you examples like Casapreco. You all know Casapreco in Ghana, producing alcoholic beverages. But Casapreco has moved to Kumasi, Tanoso specifically, producing non-alcoholic and producing water and other non-alcoholic beverages for the central, northern, and then for export. So you have some companies doing this, and they are also captured as 1D, 1F. So I'm sure now when you hear people talking about existing companies that are being bundled around, you understand. Existing company that is viable but distressed and giving support. Existing company that is in operation but wants to expand. Existing company that wants to have a new facility or move out of its original domain to another place. They are considered under the 1D, 1F. And then the new ones, the greenfields, that one, a cast across. Before the 1D, 1F came into operations, these companies were not there. They just came purposely because of the first initiative. So that is why I have to take time to explain this. The next one is 2 or more districts can collaborate to establish one factory if they have a common resource endowment. And that is what we want to do to encourage investment along these lines. Please, can you move to the next slide? And then we are also saying that when I go to the status, you'll be able to understand all these core principles because I'll give you the numbers and then you appreciate what I'm saying. We said one district can have more than one enterprise if there are more promoters interested in a particular district. So if I look at my database, we have some districts that have more than one 1D, 1Fs because maybe they are doing different enterprises or along the value chain. Somebody is doing something and is using it as an input into another processing facility. So it is allowed. And then I told you that government has no business. Government has no business to be part of the 1D, 1F. But what government does is that where necessary, where the districts, we are not getting promoters to go into those districts, government strategically would like to partner a promoter or have a PPP arrangement so that an investor will be able to go to that district. And then we got, as part of this, government can also stimulate. So when I say the government can also stimulate the private sector, and then at a time, then government would divest itself, and then the private sector can run its business. And then all that I'm talking about, the one district, one factory, is being coordinated by the Ministry of Trade and Industry under the direct responsibility of the Honorable Minister of Trade and Industry, Honorable Alan Chamatin. Please, can we go? So now, what is making companies come under the one district, one factory? One of the key things that we are able to give or government has been able to give to attract investors. One is the tax incentives. The tax incentives is in the form of waiver of duties on imported plant and machineries, as well as raw materials. But I have to underline this. Raw materials can only be granted exemption if and only if that raw material cannot be sourced locally. And all that we are doing is to support homegrown raw materials. So sometimes if you look at the pharmaceutical companies, there are key ingredients that are not available in the local market, and then they are allowed to bring it in as part of their finishing product. So these are also areas that we are encouraging people to come in so that they can also use it as part of the one district, one factory. So they are tax exemption for all your capital goods. And then you have 5 years corporate tax free. You have 5 years withholding tax free. And then another key thing to address the financial competitiveness, and then for the companies to be competitive in the market and as well as the regional market, is to have what we call interest subsidy. The interest subsidy, that is how I want to explain how it works. This is how it works. As part of the 1D, 1F, we have signed agreement with companies. Yes. We have signed agreement with 15 of the financial institutions in Ghana. 15 of them. I'll bring the list later on. And what the government is saying that because of the riskiness of the environment, on the ordinary, the banks shy away to do business with, especially the agro-processing, the other manufacturing sector. But we want to be strategic in whatever we are doing. So what government is doing under the 1D, 1F is to give interest subsidy. And this is how it works. If you are 100% Ghanaian-owned company and you are accepted under the one district, one factory, we forward your documents to a bank of your preference. And we have 15 of these banks that we have signed agreement with. And we call them PFIs, participating financial institutions, PFIs. So we forward, the government doesn't have anything to do with it. You, the promoter or the investor, will tell us that let's forward your documents to maybe EcoBank or Stanchart or Prudential Bank or Fidelity Bank or Ghana Commercial Bank or Agriculture Development Bank or Stanbic. So all these banks that are mentioning, they are part of the PFIs. So we send your documents, including your business plan and everything to them. And then once you are looking for funding, the banks will be dealing with you to see how they can provide a facility. And once that facility is approved, then the bank will write to the ministry that X amount has been approved to support this company. Can the ministry now give us the go-ahead to apply the necessary interest or interest subsidy applicable to this facility? So as part of the agreement with the banks, we have asked the banks not to charge interest rates more than 20%. So in effect, the interest rate that is applicable under the 1D, 1F, the baseline is 20. So if a company is accepted and it has a facility from a bank, the interest rate accruing on the principal is 20%. That 20%, the government is paying 50% of it, and then the promoter will pay the other 50%. So in effect, the interest accruing on your principal is 10%. And this amount is not paid to the company, but it's rather lodged with the banks. So as and when your tenor, after your moratorium has expired and you are supposed to repay back, then the bank will take the interest. And then the good thing is that we also want the businesses to have a long-term finance. So because of this, the tenure of the facility is for 60 months or 5 years. So this is the period. So the facility that you have, it is spread along these 60 months. So that after your moratorium, then they start paying the interest. And then government will pay the 10% or the 50% of your interest, and then you will pay the other interest. So as I said, the interest rate on the facility as you are earning from the 1D, 1F becomes 10%, not 20%. I want you to underscore this. Once you have a facility from the government. And then the ministry, with the support of the government, is also providing technical assistance. We want to make sure that we don't not only give finance, we also want to make sure that you need the technical know-how. If there's a need for hand-holding, if there's a need for us to support you in any technical way to bring your enterprise to operation, the ministry is there to support you. And then one critical other support is the extension of utilities, including electricity, water, and then all those utilities that can help you. Permits, your land permit, EPA permit, standard board certification, food and drugs board, all these things the ministry can support you to acquire all this documentation. Please, can we go forward? And then another thing that people have always been talking about, that after you have come out with your products, are we going to support you in the marketing and the distribution? Government has a policy to support this 1D, 1Fs in their marketing of produce. What we are doing, we are linking them up with the buyers. We also use what we call market identification and development. With Ghana Export Promotion Authority, we support the 1D, 1F companies to go on international exhibitions, local exhibitions, and fairs to be able to showcase their products. I can also confirm that because of the continental free trade that you are all aware of, that Ghana is now part of, we are also preparing companies to take advantage of the continental free trade. So some of the 1D, 1F companies that are already in operation are being supported and are being prepared to take advantage to support their produce to other African countries. And then with all this, the name says one district, one factory. We cannot sit in Accra and begin to handhold you if you are in a place in Begro or Fantiapa or Addo. All that we want to do is that the district where you are, we have the district support implementation team consisting of all the government agencies, the relevant agencies and stakeholders. They are all part of it to support you. So at any point, whenever you need anything, you can call upon the district and they're able to support you. We want to make sure that every businessman will focus on what they are focusing on in their business operations, whilst the government and its agencies also support you in building a vibrant business ecosystem. And then in addition, the government through our business development services, we call them BRCs. We have these BRCs. They are our flagship business resource centers, and they are all there to support the private sector operators. So in case you want to register your company, in case you need any technical or any advice, they are there to support you. And then we also have 31 technology solution centers to support you in case there is any need for a component of your part. You don't need to run to Tema or Accra or Kumasi, but these 31 technology solution centers are spread out throughout the country, so that when a part or a component has worn out, you can take that part to this technology solution center, and then they can support you to produce the part. So if you look at it, the whole ecosystem of the business development is being supported. We are not only supporting you with the finance through interest subsidy, we are not only supporting you with the incentives through exemptions, we are not only supporting you with the infrastructure support, we are making sure that every bit and pieces of the ecosystem, there is a support to make you that you are able to produce and run an efficient and effective business. Please, can you go ahead? So I've already talked about this. As at now, the banks that we are talking about, but I alluded to this. For you, the financing of your company, we are ready to go if you are self-financing. If you are self-financing, you have your own money, we say hallelujah, we run with you. If you want to also work with the participating financial institutions, we will direct you to them, but with your own advice. So these are the banks that I talk about, 15 of them. And if you want to run a partnership or joint ventureship or PPP arrangement, it is also done. At this juncture, let me also say, the 1D, 1F is not only Ghanaian-owned companies, it is also for foreign-owned or joint ventureship or partnership. So it is all, it's open to all people. You can come in and you will be accepted. Please, can we go? Now, on this, I will speak through it. You have the slide, you can look at it. Sometimes you hear people also talking about the fact that it's government that is chasing people to be part of 1D, 1F. No. In fact, as the secretariat or as the team sit in the Ministry of Trade, we are confronted with a number of applications. A number. Every day, at least we can receive in a day 5, 10 applications. So the first step is that we receive application and the application goes through a process. So that is the process that you can see. What we do is that once the application comes to us, we share this application with our regional trade officers. And then we share it with our consultants. And then we begin to assess and review the business plan. If we review the business plan and there is any issue, our consultants will come back to you that please, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you add this? Can you delete this? All in attempt to make your business plan bankable. Because remember, I've told you that after everything, we have to send your business plan to the banks. So if your business plan is not bankable and it will not be able to convince the bankers, then we have not done anything. So that is what we do. That before the business plan leaves our table, it is bankable and it will be able to speak on its own. So this is the process flow. So after we have accepted, we have told you we have signed agreement with the banks. So with your own advice, we send the business plan to the banks. The bank also review, and once the banks agree, then they will accept and they will write to the ministry that they would like us to apply the interest subsidy accruing on the facility they are giving to you. And once this is done, the ministry will give the approval to the banks, and the banks will begin to now give you your money. But the last two slides, the last two numbers, if you highlight on it, you will see that the banks are supposed to monitor your operations because they have given facility to you. So the banks are supposed to monitor. They monitor the usage of the facility. They monitor everything to see that if you are not using the money as it ought to be, then you are shown a yellow card. And if it is found out that you are not doing what we are expected of you, then the bank can advise that we should take you out of the 1D, 1F. And then you'll be called upon to vomit the money that has been given to you. So this is such a way that every part of the chain, we want to make sure that you are monitored. This is not a free money. We want to make sure that you are able to do your business and you're able to pay back the money that you have taken from the bank. Please, can we go for it? Now, You have heard about 1D, 1F, and sometimes people think that we are just talking about it. This is the summary that we have. As at the end of December 2021, we have 278 companies captured under the 1D, 1F. 106 of these are in operation. They are working. 148, they are at various stages of construction. In fact, some of them, as I'm speaking to you now, they are even doing test run. Some of them are just at the stage of their final stages of their installation of their machines. So they are all 148. And we have 24 of them as pipeline projects. The pipeline projects are projects that are almost done. They are just waiting for finance from the banks, and then they will be able to come into operations. So 278 as at the end of 2021. As I'm speaking to you now, we are reviewing our database. So you should not be surprised if in the next week, next 2 weeks, next 3 weeks, you hear that the 1D, 1F, maybe the numbers have gone to 300 and something or 290 something, and then the number of the projects in operation have shot to maybe 120. You should not be surprised because it is work ongoing, and we will update you once this number is reviewed. Then of this number, I told you, most of the time people are saying that we are taking the existing companies. Out of this number, 278, 165 are green, new companies that started from the scratch, green, 165. And 113 are existing companies, as I explained earlier. So I want to emphasize this. 165 are green companies. We started with them, and they are part of the 1D, 1F. And 113 are existing companies. So if you look at the percentage-wise, 60% are new companies and 40% are existing companies. And then the number continues. So this is something that you can take. And then I'll also talk about, we have 260 administrative districts. So if you look at the number, 278, then you could have said, hallelujah, then it means we have covered all the 260 districts. No. You remember, I did say that in some of the districts, we have more than one district, one factory. So that is why we have 278. So you have some of the districts that are having 2 or 3. But in actual numbers, out of the 260 districts, we have been able to cover 136, with 124 yet to be covered. We have covered 136 with 124 yet to be covered. So this is where I want to encourage you, those who are coming in and those who would like to come into 1D, 1F, we still have 124 districts yet to be covered. And after this presentation, I will share through the Ghana Union platform, I will share the districts without the 1D, 1F, so that you will know, and then you begin to also drive investment to these areas. Please, can we go for it? Now, I did say that from these slides, I just want to let you know that we are not just speaking. You can see some of the companies that were commissioned. One of them, as I was talking to you about, was existing company called B5 Plus. B5 Plus is one of the biggest steel manufacturing companies located in La Pleku in Ningo Pram district of the Greater Accra region. This company originally used to work in the Tema industrial area, but because of the 1D, 1F, they have opened this new facility. It's a modern facility in La Pleku, and it's one of the biggest, and it was commissioned last year. So you can see the president and the minister and other dignitaries during the commissioning program. And then below, I was talking about Addo. I like that name. I'm sure because of the Addo over there, Addo in OT region. It is CH Global, and they are into yam processing. The good thing is that, you know, when you look at KFC, and those of you who are in the food chain, you know, the KFCs, and then the, what do you call them? All the other food chains, one of their major ingredients are the potatoes. But you agree with me, in Ghana, we do not have the potatoes, but what we have is the yam. And the yam can compete with the potatoes. But the only issue with the yam is that it has not been processed. And this is what CH Global is doing. So it is processing the yam, and we have started talking to KFC in Ghana and other food chains to begin to look at buying the yams to replace the potatoes. Can you go ahead? Then we have another company, Narrowbase. Narrowbase is located in the Western region. Narrowbase is into rubber processing. And there's one thing about Narrowbase. It's one of the greenhorn companies, as well as CH Global. Narrowbase is producing this rubber for exports. And this is the same rubber that is turned around in Singapore, in UK, in Germany, and other places, in more than 1,000 different derivatives for the automotive industry. So we are looking for other companies to come into this industry to be able to use the final produce from Narrowbase and turn it into the finished products for our automotive industry. Because as you are already aware, Ghana has positioned itself as one of the vibrant automotive industry. Now we have attracted the Toyotas, the VWs, and the list continues. So this is what is happening in the country. And then we have below another Sefi Akontomra, one of the 1D, 1F companies. Who would have thought of it? Sefi Akontomra in the Western North. That is where we have another rice processing company. Please, can you go ahead? And then we have Nano Food in Sawam. They are into processing of pineapples. Then we have Premium Food. Premium Food is also one of the existing companies located in Joso, and they are one of the big companies. And one of the key importance of Premium Food is that they produce for the World Food Program for export. And this is where the government is supporting them to produce one of the state-of-the-art products, not only for Ghana market, but for the world market. Please, can you go ahead? And then we also have Wedi Africa. Wedi Africa is located in Doma, and it is into tomato processing. And then we have Zonda. In fact, only yesterday, I came back from Kumasi. Zonda is into heavy-duty vehicle assembly. So yesterday, we opened another branch near Joso. So these are all some of the companies that have been commissioned. Please, can we go ahead? So now, what are some of the priority sectors that we are looking at? We are looking at agro-processing. We are looking at garments and textiles. We are looking at pharmaceuticals. We are looking at components manufacturing. We are looking at paper and paper products. And then we are looking at packaging materials. These are all some of the priority sectors. But there are other sectors that we can also run with you. But these are the critical priority sectors that we are looking at. So now, with all that I've said, the last slide is the conclusion. The 1D, 1F is working. The 1D, 1F is private sector driven. The 1D, 1F is something that is going to transform Ghana's industrial landscape. And with the support of everybody, we are in position to drive Ghana's transformation agenda. Let me end with this. I have a company located in Kumasi, and I want to mention the name, Beacon Hill. The promoter used to work in US with one of the top companies, Pfizer in US. But as part of the 1D, 1F, the promoter came to Ghana and took advantage of the system. And only last month, He has finished everything and he's now into operation. So this is to underscore the fact that it is doable. It's not something that we are just talking about. It is doable. Beacon Hill is doing what we call poultry, floating poultry feed in Kumasi. And so next time when you come to Ghana, you can see that the poultry, the fishing sector is growing because now we have different value chain providers. So I want to encourage you to come into the 1D, 1F. And with the government support, with the bank support, with all the other MDAs, ministries, department, agencies, we'll be able to transform Ghana economy. On this note, I thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Kofi Addo. Thank you very, very much. This has been a very educative session. You've given us a lot of information that I'm sure the audience will be keen to want to take you through some few questions. I've already seen some questions on the chat room, which I'm sure I'll go through. Please, at this point, we will be taking some commercial break, some break so that we can all have a cup of water or tea quickly and return to you. Before we do that, please raise your hand using the chat room icon so that by the time we come back, your hands are already up and we'll be calling you in order of, in ascending order. We will take a quick break and come back with all the questions and answers. Mr. Kofi Addo will be here with us throughout the next minutes and hour if needed be, and I'm sure you will do all the justice to your questions that you may have. Thank you. We'll be back.
Hello, hi. My name is Calibos, the only boss with one S. I'm sure you've heard about Send. Yes, I'm here to tell you Send is the secure way to send money from UK, from the US, from Canada, from Europe to Africa or Asia with no fee. Very fast and very secure. So what are you waiting for? Get onto that platform. It's Send. You can find it on the App Store or Play Store. And guess what? If you use the promo code Calibos, you get for your first transaction you make $10 free. If you're from the US and you're from the UK, it's £5 free. And from Europe, anywhere in Europe, you get €5 free. It's Send.
I'll talk about it.
Medidi ya nyantechwa emre bia am discover free Europe akoma abusuafo wo Ghana no me use tap send no fee mobile money transfer eye easy eye convenient eye fast and sound so ye free wontua hwe me discover aye mapem tap send entienne also download the tap send app no ewo mobile phone so free na fesika komo abusuafo wo Ghana afa na nyina tap send Papa no.
Welcome back, audience. My name is Emmanuel Kwesi, your host tonight. We have a special guest, Mr. Kofi Addo, the Chief Commercial Officer and Head of One District, One Factory with us. This program has been put together by support of Ghana Union, UK and Ireland, Ghana Nurses Association UK, the Western Region Association of Nurses UK, the Ghanaian Nightingale Association Nurses UK, and supported also by Omega Live TV and Ghana High Commission. We also want to thank TapTapSend for promoting this program and supporting us through this. We encourage our audience to make use of TapTapSend. The more you do that, the more we can bring you all these innovative, educative programs for the community. We want to thank also IT Consortium for supporting us. We welcome all sponsors who want to be part of what we do. We need to try and reach out to our community, the Ghanaian community, UK, and the diaspora at large. This program is being streamed live on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, you are here with us on Zoom. We will go to the question and answer session. Mr. Addo is here with us, and I'm sure we have a few people's hands up. I do encourage all of you, this is your opportunity to ask your questions. I will go to the chat room, Mr. Addo, and I will ask some of the questions there before I come to those whose hands are up, because I do realize some of them were put there before the hands came up. First question, on average, how long would the combined process take from starting to deal with the ministry to completing and becoming an employer or a factory? How long does it take? Okay. That's what somebody wants to know.
Okay. Can I answer?
Yes, you can attend to this one first, please.
Okay. It is between the two of us, the promoter and then the ministry. If all your documents, because as I said, it is a process flow. If all your documents are up to date and everything is well documented, and apart from that, we also do due diligence and everything comes perfectly. Within maximum 2 to 3 months, you should have your registration. But let me say, because now the due diligence is so critical, and we are working with other ministries, departments, and agencies, we need to also get in touch with them. And sometimes by the time the results or the response comes, it can take a little while. But we do our best that within maximum 3 months, you should get your acceptance. Sometimes, if you have everything working well, and in fact, you have even started your construction and you are going ahead before you came in, I can tell you, within 30 working days, you can have your acceptance. Mr. Chairman, let me say this. The reason why we have to take our time to do the due diligence, previously, because companies, yes, were giving the acceptance earlier, it has become like something like a blank check. Somebody is holding acceptance. I am 1D1F, I'm 1D1F. I've not gotten anything from government. But if you go and check, the person does not even have a land. It was a business plan that he has submitted. Now we want to make sure that we take all the boxes. We want to make sure that the regional officers visit your place to ascertain that your land has been secured. We want to make sure that if it has been secured, you have everything dotted. If it is not secured and it's in the process, and we believe that where it has reached, we can go ahead, we will go ahead and then support you to complete land processing. So all in all, I will say it again, within 3 months, you can get your acceptance letter.
Thank you very much. I'll go to those whose hands are up. Kofi, Kumi, Addo. Can I say that we are not here engaging in politics? Your questions should be purely on one district, one factory. We don't want to make references to past government and which factory was there and which factory is now broken. That's not why we are here. We are here to open the opportunities for you and I, who may be interested, to go to Ghana and do something to help society, employ people, and build our nation. It's not about politics. So can I guide all audience to stick to questions only and direct questions to the topic? Thank you very much. Kofi Kumiadu, please, if your hand is up and you're still with me.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Thank you, name. I'm also Kofi Addo. We applied for the one district, one factory. Immediately it came. we came to Ghana 2017. Luckily enough, I was given what we call a note to go to Flagstaff House, and we presented our business plan. We've got our land, we've got everything. It's 5 years now, we haven't heard anything. I've been to Ghana twice, and even when I call Madam Gifty, she picks the phone, she says she will call back, we doesn't hear anything. So I just want to know, what is the process? You've spoken nicely here, but I am somebody who has gone through the system. I've presented my business plan. We've got our land, we've got our business plan, everything ready. We just need to come through, but nothing. We haven't heard anything. You say you contact people. We haven't. When we also try and approach, nobody get back to us. So that's my question.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kofi, please note that one down.
Can I?
Yes. Yes.
Name, how are you doing? Yeah,
I think after asking the question, we've muted him. So you muted him.
Yes. Kindly tell him immediately we finish. He should send the details to me. Let me say something. You know, at the time we were working with the secretariat and then the ministry. It is something that I don't want to go there, but sometimes you have some of the companies submitting the documents to the secretariat, and the secretariat were working on it, and then the whole thing was that it didn't come to the ministry. Now there's the secretariat and everything is now under the Ministry of Trade. So please, let me have a copy of the document and I will quickly follow up, and then we'll make sure he will hear from us.
Thank you, Mr. Addo. I think this is a very key one. It will be good that 5 years, this man sees some results. It's in our interest that we follow up. So I'm grateful you've taken the offer to do so. And I know you will. You are a man of your word. Boateng, please, your hand is up. Boateng, if you're still with us, please unmute yourself, Boateng. Do we have Boateng with us still? Okay, so can I go to John Seria?
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Addo.
Good evening.
Just a quick one. I mean, thank you. I caught the back end of what you were saying. I mean, I think the first question or the second question was what I was going to touch on, which was, you know, red tapes and people trying to get information or have been told to call and it has not yielded any fruit. So I'm glad that you said the guy should, you know, get in contact with you. Secondly, in terms of industrialization, I mean, it's a wonderful policy, which a lot of Ghanaians are in favor of. But on the other side, my concern is the level of production, and coupled with, you know, foreign imports coming in. You know, if we really want to see a big impact, the level of production compared to the level of imports coming in, we really won't see the impact if that side is not catered for, if you understand where I'm getting at. So if you can maybe talk about it a bit more, because there are certain sectors that people want to get into, but if you see how open the market is and imports are coming in, you know, it kind of put a lot of strain on the local production.
Okay, thank you, Jones. Mr. Addo, do you want to attend to this?
No, it is a critical question. So that is why when we were talking about the principles, we were talking about import substitution. The whole thing is that we need to make sure we address this massive imports. But you can only address this massive imports when you are also in the position to produce, so that you will not create shortages. So that is why the government is doing, to encourage people to go into manufacturing. So it is a good point that he has raised. whilst we are doing this, we have to match it up with other imports that we believe that we have the strength. So let me give you a typical example, like the poultry sector. What we are doing under the 1D1F is to look at the value chain. That is why we are building companies that are into the maize, cereal, soya bean, and other things that will feed into the poultry sector, so that the poultry sectors will have competitive backward integration, that they will not be importing the feeds and other things from outside. And it will also go to help them to be competitive. So I understand you perfectly, and we need to make sure we balance the scale, that we have Ghanaian grown companies or companies that are in Ghana and able to produce massively to be able to compete with the level of import. And then, like you said, we must also begin to look at it this way. Ghanaians we must advise ourselves to also come down on our quest for foreign products. It has become something that everything from our side, we want to rush into it. But the more we patronize in foreign products, it means we are sending our hard-earned dollar outside. And it means we are working against the economy. So this is something that indeed is a good suggestion, and it will be working.
I'll go to the chat room for one or two more questions, and then I'll come back to those who say. Somebody saying, I'm a filmmaker. How can I benefit from 1D1F? It's a filmmaker. It's all been centered on those who have construction sites and things like that. How can people with special skills also become part of the sharing of the cake, if I may say so?
Yeah, if you look at the principle under the 1D1F, we are talking about value addition. So for now, the sectors that we are focusing on is manufacturing. So the services sector does not fall under the 1D1F, but the services sector can fall under the general Ghana investment promotion activity. So if there's any way you want us to link you up with the Ghana Investment Promotion Center or the people in the film industry, we are more than ready to link you up. But for now, the focus is into value addition, manufacturing, agro-processing.
Thank you. There's another chat room question. Is the info in the presentation going to be shared? So I may ask your permission. I'm sure if it's an official document, wouldn't mind if we share it on our page, Facebook page, so that people can have access and go through it. I don't think that's a problem. Thank you, Mr. Kofi. Now there's one hand up. Dr. Forikwa, please.
Okay, thank you. I have a list of industries that some of them I personally have had dealings with them before in the past. In the scheme of 1D1F, where do industries like Addo Glass Factory, Bonsa Tires, Paper Conversion Corporation, Pomadi Feed Factory, and Jute Factory, where do they come in? Because if you take Glass Factory, for instance, 90% of the inputs are found locally in the local Abosu Takwa area. It is the same with Bonsa Tires and Paper Conversion Corporation. Jute bags, the sisal came from Tanzania, but there is a huge market for it. So where do these stand in the scheme of things of 1D1F?
Okay, so he wants to know, as we try to promote new and innovative ideas, have we just dashed away the previous ones that was existing, or are we incorporating? I did hear you saying that some of them have been either merged with new ones or something. So if you can highlight a little bit more, that you may have missed it.
Yeah, that is a good thing that Doc has raised. And that is why I was saying that government is not government business. All these companies that we talk about, you remember, they were like government driven. So what government is looking for is that if we are able to get partners or private sector operators that will support government in running these companies, we can easily bring them under the 1D, 1F. So a typical example, you remember the Aboso plant that he's talking about. I'm aware that some people have sent application for them to revitalize it under the 1D, 1F. So it's being considered. So the jute factory and other things, the same thing. If we have private sector operators who would like to partner government, it will be done. And then he was talking about the tie factory. It's so critical because we are now going to the automotive industry. So that's why I was talking about Narrowbase, a company which is operating in the Western region, producing the rubber. We are looking for companies of such operations to come in and then join forces to be able to turn these things around. So indeed, what Doc is saying is 100% correct. And that is why when you hear that government is bringing in existing companies, that is exactly the reason why. Because these companies that were there, though they are viable, they are distressed. So once we are able to get appropriate financing options, it is a good example for them to be turned around so that they can come back on stream and support our massive employment.
Thank you, Mr. Addo. Thank you. Watson, your hand is back on. Please, would you mind to unmute yourself and ask the question? There's someone called Watson.
Yeah,
we did call you earlier.
I'm here.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much. I also have I've submitted my proposal. Even the minister called me when I was in Ghana. I'm in Germany, to ask me to. He directed me to give it to someone in the office. I submitted this somewhere in November 15th till now. I haven't heard from anybody, but I don't want to call the minister Alan and disturb him. So if Mr. Addo can also help me out.
Thank you.
You see, Mr. Chairman, these are some of the things that I was talking about. Yes, the person has submitted his documents. It is in the process, but I'm sure the first thing that we normally do, as I was saying, is the land and what state is the person in. Once he is in outside, if we don't have the local person that we'll be talking to, then it means there's a break in communication. So he can send me, I know I've received some documents from Germany and other things that we are working on. But from November to now, it is very on the table. But as I said earlier, now we are not just looking at just business ideas. We are looking at people who are ready to run with businesses. So I will get back to him. When you finish, I can share my email address to him. He can send me the details and then we will run with him. But it is a hard thing that we are doing, that we want to see that people are really serious with whatever business plan they have submitted to us.
Thank you. There's a question that says, are all 1D, 1F for export only? How is the national food security planned for future generation? Well, I don't know. I mean, I think the key point is they want to know, should they all be export processing companies or factories or something else? I don't know. If you can highlight something, just don't go too much into national security.
No.
This is about one district, one factory.
Yeah. The whole thing is that if you are 1D, 1F and you produce, you can take advantage of both the local and the international markets. If you want to be solely for the export market, you can come under the Ghana Free Zones Enclave, where you produce and 70% of your produce have to be exported and 30% is circulated in the local market. When you come under 1D, 1F, it is open-ended. If you want to specialize in the local market, fair enough. But you see, if you are operating in the local market, and your final produce is accepted, and there's opportunity for outside, why not? Because it also it gives us the opportunity to be competitive, and it also generates foreign exchange. So we encourage companies to be outward looking, but first we are looking for them to produce massively for the local market.
Thank you. I did get some questions sent in advance, and I will ask some of them at this point. How many regions are 1DF, 1 factory currently established? We have 16 regions. So have we been covered in every district, in every region, or
yes,
we are on a work in progress?
Yes, yes. In all the 16 regions, we are covered. And I can also share you the breakdown, the district. I will share it with you later on. So if you look at the regional coverage, the whole country, as I said, out of the 260 districts, we have done 136. I said 136, covering covering 136 districts, leaving 124 districts to be covered. So all the regions, 16 regions, at least there's 1D, 1F in each of the districts, in each of the regions.
Okay, thank you. Another question that came earlier, and I'm hesitant to ask, but I will, because it's for the future merit of the project that are being done. We have a history of projects being abandoned when there are changeover of leadership or government. So what have we done to ensure that those who have invested their money in these factories will not be, what would I say, will not be wanting when somebody else takes over, and that they will be given the support? Do we have any legally mandated, something imprinted in law that will give them the continued support as this government is giving, or is it just their faith being left to future? And I hope you get where I'm coming from. I don't want
Perfect. No, I understand you perfectly. Let me underscore this point. From the beginning, I said that the 1D, 1F is private sector driven. The government is focusing on building a vibrant, competitive business environment. Whatever we are doing is enshrined in Ghana's industrial transformation agenda, which is a policy, a document on its own. The incentives that I talk about, the incentives have been passed by Parliament. So because of this, let me just explain why when a company brings in machines and equipment, the company must apply to the Ministry of Trade. We go through the documents, we send it to the Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance does everything about the application. A memo is put on it. It goes to Parliament House, and Ghana Parliament will approve or decline the exemption. And this thing, we had the bill passed by Parliament. So everything that we are doing is enshrined in Ghana's industrial transformation agenda. It's not something that anybody can come at any time and say, you are this, I'm taking you out. No. And then look at it. The financial institutions that are supporting the companies, the financial institutions are their own private sector driven. They do their own assessment and they do their own appraisal, and then they begin to give facilities to the companies. Nobody goes to the banks to talk to them that, please, this company should be giving this amount. No, you can't do it. The companies have to go through the credit appraisal, risk assessment, and then their cash flows, everything is assessed. And then they are giving this. And that's why if you look at the flow that I did, you saw that I said that the banks are part of the monitoring exercise. So when they are monitoring and they find out that you are not using the facility they have granted as it ought to be, you are either cautioned or the whole arrangement is cancelled and you are asked to repay the money that you took from the bank. So this one, it will outlive any government because it is enshrined in Ghana's industrial transformation agenda policy.
Thank you. Someone has put here, what help and support post-build for exportation, i.e. laws of finance? I think it's similar to what I just did ask you earlier on. So we will go to some of the questions that came in before the program. What has been the most tangible outcomes from 1D, 1F, 5 years into 1D, 1F? What has been the most tangible outcomes that you can highlight on?
Okay, Chairman, thank you very much for this. I didn't want to, because of what we are doing, I didn't want to talk about this. As part of the 1D, 1F, the companies in operation have been able to create employment. And we are talking about 150,000+ employment, direct and indirect employment created by the companies in operation. And then the companies under construction have also created around 131,817 employment. So on the employment side, we are happy to say that a lot is happening. Companies have employed people. 2, we are also talking about the import substitution. Let me be specific here. Chairman, during the heat of the COVID period, 2019-2020, when international market and international flow of goods were distorted, and government needed to get the face masks, all those things, we did not import one from anywhere. It was the government and textiles industries that are under the 1D, 1F that the government had to depend on for the schools, the doctors, and everything. And more than 22 million PPEs were produced in Ghana. So you can imagine, if the 1D, 1F was not in operation, we would have been running around the globe where America was suffering, China was suffering. Even if you were able to get the products, shipping time, you were not, if you are not careful, you won't get the ships. And then these things will have a serious repercussion on the economy. 2, at the time that we needed the sanitizers, we needed to depend on some of the local ethanol manufacturing companies to be able to produce ethanol, to the pharmaceutical companies to produce hand sanitizers to support our fight against 1D, 1F. So if you ask us what are the critical things, I can talk about this as one of the critical things. And then in addition, some of these companies are now producing a Kofi juice. We have rice companies. We have all I was talking about the company that is doing articulators and all these big bulldozers. If they were not producing in Ghana, it means we would have sent our hard-won dollars chasing these goods from outside. So in the short term, we have seen that 1D, 1F is working. And I'm sure within the next 1 year, 2 years, when most companies come, which are under construction, come on stream, we'll be able to employ more people.
Great, thank you. I think that is what we want to hear. Employment is obviously the most important part of this, all of this. Eventually, we want to make sure everyone get a fair share of something that we could all be proud of. So thank you. We are going to take a second break, and then we'll come back to more questions, more of the questions that I had before and those whose hands are up. I will definitely call all of you, so please, we'll still have some time. So take a minute break, get yourself a glass of water, and we will come back.
Hello, hi. My name is Calibos, the only boss with one S. I'm sure you've heard about TapTapSend. Yes, I'm here to tell you TapTapSend is the secure way to send money from UK, from the US, from Canada, from Europe to Africa or Asia with no fee. Very fast and very secure. So what are you waiting for? Get onto that platform. It's TapTapSend. You can find it on the App Store or Play Store. And guess what? If you use the promo code Calibos, you get for your first transaction you make $10 free. If you're from the US and you're from the UK, it's £5 free. And from Europe, anywhere in Europe, you get €5 free. It's Tap Tap Send.
Me did the young antechua, and maybe I'm discovered for Europe. I come a bush and for Ghana. No, me used to tap tap send, tap tap send. No fee mobile money transfer. Aye easy, aye convenient, aye fast, and sounds so free. Won't you share? Me discover aye map him. Tap tap send. Intienne, also download the Tap Tap Send app no ewo mobile phone so free. Na first ka come we bush and for Ghana for na. Tap tap send. Papa no.
Welcome back, and thanks to our sponsors, Tap Tap Send, fast, reliable, efficient. You save a lot of money using Tap Tap Send. I have tried it. Please try it yourself too. We have IT Consortium also helping with all our technology, information security, and everything else that you need. Please go on the website and search for their help. I'm sure you wouldn't be disappointed. We thank the support of Ghana Union, Western Region Nurses Association, UK, Ghana Nurses UK, and Nightingale Nurses Association UK for putting this together. We thank the support from the Ghana High Commission, and of course, our distinguished guest who has devoted 2 hours of his time to take us through very well meaningful time with us. So we are grateful. Coming up 2 weeks time from today, on the 25th of February, the topic we'll be dealing with is called e-levy. E-levy. All of you would have heard e-levy discussion going on in Ghana. And it will be our turn as a diasporan community to ask the questions, the why, the what, and how is going to impact on our transactions to Ghana. All of us who have interest in Ghana, either through business, through paying fees, through looking after families. When you send your money, what would that e-levy mean to you? And obviously there are other implications for the country as well in terms of budgetary requirements and everything else. We will be with a lecturer, a senior lecturer from the University of Ghana and a director of Ali Inchia Associates, a very competent tax expert who in his duty has been advising Parliament and other ministerial teams about this e-levy. He'll be here with us 2 weeks time from today to take us through e-levy. So please join us. Let people know, forward it to all those, and register. The registration process is quite simple, just your name and email. We're not asking for any intrusive questions. We want to protect our audience and everybody we are engaging with. So please, do the needful and support this process. Thank you very much. And we will go back to the few questions we'll have. Mr. Jones, Aria's hand is up again. Let's give him another chance if he wasn't clear with the first one.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me okay, yeah?
Yes, we can.
Oh, good stuff. Mr. Addo, just a couple of things. Two questions, if I may. So you did mention that people are a bit hesitant about government's interference when it comes to one district, one factory, and you did say that it is private driven, which I agree. But I think the apprehensiveness comes from in the past where we've seen government interference in some sectors, and that caused a worry because people are putting their livelihoods to invest in the country. So I think maybe if there could be more enlightenment on that particular side to reassure people that the investment will be safe. And then secondly, how would the AFCFTA, the African Continental Free Trade Area or Agreement, impact one district, one factory, in particular, intellectual property?
Thank you. I'm sure Mr. Addo grasped your question. If you want to, please react to it.
Yeah, thank you. Doc, I'm sure this platform that has been created by the Ghana Union is also the platform that we are using to encourage people that this is a government-driven policy, but the private sector are the people behind the wheel. So it is all part of the communication that we are doing. And I understand where the apprehension is coming from. But believe you me, we need to move out of this political arena and begin to do business. Like the government will always say, it's not government business to be in business, it's the private sector. And that is where government has created this ecosystem to attract the private sector to be doing their business. I'll give you an example of the man in Kumasi. In fact, the name is always coming, but I don't want to mention the name. But the company, Beacon Hill, a person who was working with Pfizer in US, he doesn't know, there's no political connection or anything. He just, after more than 20 years, he took his bag and document and said, I've had enough. With all that I've had as a top engineer, let me come and also change the industrial landscape in Ghana. And he's built one of the state-of-the-art companies in Ghana. And the list goes on. So please, this is a platform that we are using, but we continue to engage people for them to know that everything that we are doing, government is facilitating, but the private sector is driving the whole process. And then African Continental Free Trade, I did talk about it, that what we are doing right now is that some of the companies that are already in operation, they are being prepared to take advantage of the market opening opportunities in the sub-region. And this is a good opportunity. So that is what we are doing. But when it comes to intellectual property, this is something that, in fact, the ministry working with the Registrar General Department are seriously working on to get our intellectual properties registered. I'm sure once you talk about it, you know the process. It has to go through a lot of this thing to be registered. So this is something that we are serious on. But though it is something that we have to work on. Other than that, people will take our local products, and you can even see now Vietnam, China, and other places, our kente is being pirated and being used everywhere. So it's something that I've taken it on board, and we will spearhead it so that we get our intellectual properties well registered and well documented.
Thank you. There is a question which is more gender-based. I'm not sure if that is something that will benefit all of us. Of course, if you have any information to share with us. Any input in 1G1F female-led companies?
Oh, yes.
Have you identified companies that are predominantly female-led
Yes.
and can encourage others to do so?
Yes, but with this, I will do the analysis of the female operating companies. But yesterday, the Zunda Tech that I was talking about, the heavy-duty assembly plant that I was talking about, it's a woman-driven. And then most of the government's companies that are in Ghana, I can say that almost 80% of them are all women-driven. And we also have some of the agro-processing companies, also driven by women. And then the paper and paper products areas, we also have women spearheading. And you can, I also like this question because I know you are aware that recently there was a publication that came that showed that in Africa, and I'm sure Ghana is leading, Ghana's women are taking the center stage as part of women CEOs. And when women are driving the operations, we see the benefits that comes down. So that question is important. And I will do that analysis and I will share with you.
Thank you. One question that came before the program to me was how sustainable are the current ongoing 1D1F projects? How sustainable are they?
The sustainability is built on all that I've said. It is an ecosystem where the banks are doing what they have signed agreement to do. I have to tell you, as I'm speaking to you now, always we are engaging the banks because the private sector needs to be able to get its, the facility on time so that operations and everything will be going on time. So we are mindful of the schedules. 2, we are also encouraging the private sectors to also be open and transparent. If your booths are open and transparent, everybody can come in. We have moved from the time that people want to hide their documents and everything. But for now, if you want to be part of the system, you must have an open document. And then 2, I'm talking to you, we have officers at the Ministry of Trade, also working with the regional officers, with the business resource centers, with other ministry, department, and agencies, all coming on board to support the success operations of the 1D1F. So the sustainability is assured. But we are also saying that though there are challenges, one way or the other, but with the support of the private sector, we will be able to overcome those hurdles. But the future is very, very bright.
Thank you. Dr. Forikwa, your hand is up again. If you want to ask your question, please kindly do so. Unmute yourself.
Yes, it's about the last but one gentleman who spoke raised the question of intellectual property. I attended a Zoom conference which was held in South Africa. Now, one of the things I took away was that in South Africa, it costs about $1,500 to register a patent. There are about 4 different systems across Africa. In Ghana, it costs about $30,000 and over a year to register a patent. As a result, on the list, there were just 2 in Ghana, about 2,000 in South Africa, 150 in Nigeria, and so on. With the presence of the AFTA headquarters in Ghana, is it possible for the Ghana government to champion a standardized registration across the country? Because what happens is, once you register in one country, it's different from another country. So when you register in Ghana, for instance, somebody can pick it and go and reproduce it elsewhere without your being able to do absolutely nothing about it. For instance, recently, Takoradi Technical School showcased a traffic light system, which is based on pressure. When the vehicle passes at a certain point, it triggers it off. Unfortunately, because it was put on social media, I am sure the Chinese are producing it right now. We need to streamline it because it's ridiculous to register when in America somebody can register a patent for $1,000. In Ghana, it costs $30,000 and more than 12 months. So people don't even bother to try because it's too harassing. Is there a way under 1D1F, can we streamline it so that people who create intellectual property can be protected, please?
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Carr. Yes, Mr. Addo, please.
First, the whole thing was that to make a recommendation to the Secretariat so that it is standardized. So it's something that I'll bring on board. You know, we have the Ghana, our Secretariat, our coordinating office. So this is a critical thing. As at now, under the 1D, 1F, because we are all working towards the market access opportunities, we have not done anything specifically for intellectual property. But with what you have said, and because the issue is always coming up, so we need to make sure that we have to sit down with the Registrar General Department and all the institutions involved so that we can critically look at this. Because like you rightly said, if we are not careful, somebody will just sit somewhere because of the people can pick anything. Once you show it anywhere, people pick it, change the name, put it in their language, and begin to produce it. So, Doc, for this one, everything that you have said, I agree with you. We have to work and double up on our intellectual property regime. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have one or two questions more, and then we'll bring this to a roundup. So what are some of the steps that you can give that will guide private sector investors to collaborate with government agencies? So for instance, if there's a private sector, somebody, an entrepreneur wanting to come and help, what are the key steps they need to follow before even bringing their business plan and all the signing and all the things happen? What are some of the basic steps that they can take? Is it a conversation on the phone? Is it a meeting with anybody? Is this any kind of authority that you have to discuss your own idea? We just talked about intellectual property now. Is there any steps like that, or you just have to produce a plan before you are actually considered?
Yeah, Chairman, that is another critical question. One, I would say that you have my email address. You can also share my numbers with the group. The way we have done it in the office at the 1D, 1F, I'm not the person driving, though I am the head. I have team members, everybody dedicated to one of the regions. So once you come out and tell me that, Kofi, I want to establish a company in maybe Boko or somewhere, I liaise with my team member who is in charge of the Upper East or Upper West, who also link up with the regional trade officer, and they will begin to get the right information to advise you. So first and foremost, if you are in the thinking phase, you are still planning, oh, what can I do? Because I've talked about the priority sectors. If your sector doesn't fall into the priority sectors, but you believe there's something that you have heard or you know based on the available raw materials in your district, and you believe that if you add value to it, it can turn the economy around, please, why not? Speak to us. We will engage the assembly. We will engage all the right people, and then we can come back to you. So by the time the business plan comes out, we know where we are going. In addition, if you also have the business plan and you want to bring it, once you bring it, we can also be talking along the line. I always tell people, for my team members, we work 24/7. In fact, sometimes I don't even see whether Saturday or Sunday. I visit companies, people call me at any time. So please, if there's any issue, bring it and then we can share. But let me say this. We are not in producing just in Ghana. We are producing in a global way. So if you want to come into the manufacturing sector, at least you must also do some few checks and balances to see how you can be competitive. Because the game is such that if you do not do your homework very well, you can start along the line if you are not careful, because much due diligence did not go into it, much appraisal did not go into it, you may falter. And this is what we want to avoid. In addition, let me say this. It is not only 1D, 1F that is driving manufacturing into the country. When I started talking about, I said 1D, 1F is one of the windows. You can also come in under the Ghana Investment Promotion Center window. And then you also have your own incentives. You can also come in under the Ghana Free Zones Enclave, where I talk about that for now, the Ghana Free Zone Enclave will allow you to export 70% of your final produce, but 30% should be circulated in the local market. And everywhere, anywhere in Ghana can be designated as a free zone. So these are some of the things, if you begin to talk to us, we can advise. Because for us, we have talked about our priority sectors. We are into manufacturing, value addition. But if you are into the services sector, you don't fall under 1D, 1F, but you can fall under free zone or you can fall under Ghana Investment Promotion Center. Thank you.
Thank you. It's interesting you said about your communication channel. Somebody's asked if we can share your email. So if you have any generic email that can be shared, please feel free to put it on the chat yourself so that people can get to you. It has to be an email, I believe, that people can attend to some of these as things happen. I will have one more question, one or two more, and from those who sent me earlier. So in your experience, which area or material sector do you think are lucrative with 1D, 1F initiative?
Chairman, please, the question again.
Right. So if you were to recommend an area of business interest, in your experience, what would be the area you'll be talking about or you'll be pointing people to?
Yeah, Chairman, because of our raw materials base, so the first one that I can easily point people to is the agro base. Right. But I have to also underscore this. Research and everything has shown that if you want to go into the manufacturing base, especially the agro processing, you should be in the position to control your backward integration, at least 70%. Because if you are not careful and you are depending on the ad growers, FBOs, and other things, or the open market, at the time that you need your core raw materials, they might also be offloading into the open market. So the key thing is that agro processing, but you must be in the position to support the backward integration and control at least 70%. That is one thing that is happening under 1D, 1F. Most of the companies coming in the ethanol production, in the pineapple, in the other agro processing, they are also doing well, having their own ad grower scheme and having their own models to support them in their manufacturing. So agro processing, but please remember to have some backward integration. And then the other sector that is also growing, the paper and paper products. It is also an encouraging and facilitating sector that people are looking at. And we know the pharmaceuticals, but the pharmaceuticals, as I sit here, you know that it is a capital intensive sector. But if you're able to have a joint venture or a partnership, it's a sector that, because of the way Ghana has been able to liberalize its pharmaceutical sector, we are able to produce high quality drugs. And we are hoping that companies that come into the fray will be able to produce WHO compliant produce for the sub-region. So these are the key sectors that I'm looking at. And then the last but not the least, because we are also encouraging the automotive sector, one of the areas that I listed was components manufacturing, components, the different components for car. So these are some of the things that people can look at. It is new and it is very, very a lucrative one that people are encouraged to look at.
Thank you so much, Mr. Addo. Thank you. It's been a great evening. I do encourage all our audience to join us again in 2 weeks' time. We'll be talking about e-levy. E-levy is a hot topic in Ghana, and I'm sure those of us in diaspora are very interested to know how it's going to impact or whether it's going to benefit us as well. So please join us. Mr. Addo, please, your closing remarks. If you got anything else you want to add that you haven't already done so that we can graciously bring you to a good evening and weekend.
Yeah, Chairman, on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Trade and colleagues at the Ministry of Trade, we want to thank you for the platform that you are giving to us to share ideas about the 1D, 1F. My wife has been saying something, and they say that if you are not part of us right now, when the history of Ghana is told in years to come, you will not be part of us. You will not enjoy the history. Ghana is on a path of transformation agenda. Ghana can only make it if we are able to add value to available raw materials. Ghana can make it because we have the human resource. Everywhere that you go, Ghanaians are making it. So it is time for us, those of us in the diaspora, to also be provoked that you have had enough. You have done well in the UK, in the US, in the Canada. Come back home, establish, and make a change where that change will be felt not only in Ghana, but also take advantage of the continental free trade. I know it is sometimes hard and it's sometimes difficult because when you look at the system, how it operates outside, when you come here, sometimes you get confused. But I can assure you, the system is developing. As I was talking to you, we have one of the systems that we are developing at the Ministry of Trade called Business BRR, Business Regulatory Reforms, because we want to make sure that all the things that are happening in the country, we make it so easy for anybody sitting anywhere. You can press the button in your registration of companies, in getting access to information and permits, regulations in the districts and everywhere. You can press a button and get access to all this information. So we are working along the line to make business operations in Ghana to be more competitive. And thank you for the platform once again. And I believe we are all part of making Ghana a better place for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Addo. On behalf of the Ghanaian community, I want to thank you for the time, for being with us and taking us through this very educative program. I hope we can continue to count on you when the need arises for you to come back and give us any update that will continue to benefit us. We want to thank the support of Tap Send, who has graciously sponsored this program. Tap Send, your reliable money transfer route to Ghana from UK, from anywhere in Europe and America, I believe, are also using it at no fee at all, zero fees. Make use of them. IT Consortium, we thank you for the sponsorship. We want to encourage our audience to take a look at their product. Please, when we bring these sponsors to you, they are here to help us to reach out to you and therefore investigate their background, go to their website and make use of them. We thank the support of Western Region Nurses Association, the Ghana Nurses Association, and of course, the Nightingale Ghanaian Association UK. Ghana Union, the umbrella body, want to thank you for your partnership in delivering this program to you. I want to thank those who have brought this program, made it possible for us to view for the past 2 hours. Lillian, who has signed in from America and helping behind the scene as a technical team. Linda Wayo for being there and doing all the hard work. And of course, the almighty Paul for spearheading all the good work that we have seen this evening. Myself, Emmanuel Kusikwesin, the chairman of Ghana Union, I'm grateful for your audience, and we call on you to join us again in 2 weeks' time, where we'll be discussing e-levy and other topics to come. We have various topics coming. We are going to talk about land acquisition in Ghana, how to acquire a land, the process you need to go through. We will also be talking about Ghana Card at some point. So please keep checking your emails, keep checking your posts, and send it to those who want to know. For the good of Ghana, we are all working in the interest of Ghana, and we do so with honor. Thank you. Have a very good weekend, and may you be well and be safe. God bless you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Medidi ya nyantechwa emrebia mdisika be free Europe akoma busuafo wo Ghana no me use tap send no fee mobile money transfer ɛyɛ easy, ɛyɛ convenient, ɛyɛ fast, and sounds so you're free. Won't you share? Me discover ye mapim. Tap tap send. Inti ene, also download the Tap Send app no ewo mobile phone so free. Na first ka komo abusuafo wo Ghana afa na nyina. Tap Send. Papa no.
Hello, hi. My name is Calibos, the only boss with one S. I'm sure you've heard about Tap Send. Yes, I'm here to tell you Tap Send is the secure way to send money from UK, from the US, from Canada, from Europe to Africa or Asia with no fee. Very fast and very secure. So what are you waiting for? Get onto that platform. It's Tap Send. You can find it on the App Store or Play Store. And guess what? If you use the promo code Calibos, you get for your first transaction you make $10 free. If you're from the US and you're from the UK, it's £5 free. And from Europe, anywhere in Europe, you get €5 free. It's Tap Send.